Hello and welcome. Today, we are starting something very powerful, something simple but life changing, and that is reading.
Yes. And before you think this is just a normal topic, stop for a moment and ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you read something meaningful?
Not scrolling, not watching, not just passing time on your phone, but real reading.
Because the truth is, most people don't read anymore. They watch, they scroll, they listen, but they don't read.
And slowly, without even realizing it, their thinking becomes weak.
Their focus becomes weak. Their language becomes weak. Their imagination becomes weak.
That sounds serious.
It is serious, because reading is not just a habit, it is a foundation.
Foundation of what?
Foundation of your thinking, your communication, your understanding of the world.
I used to think reading is only important for students.
That's what many people believe. They think reading is only for exams, for school, for passing tests.
And after school, they stop reading.
Exactly. And that is where growth stops.
So reading is not just for education, it is for life.
Yes, because reading shapes your mind.
Explain that in a simple way.
When you read, you are not just seeing words, you are entering new ideas.
New ideas?
Yes, every sentence you read is someone's thought, someone's experience, someone's understanding.
So reading connects you to other minds.
Exactly. And that is powerful, because without reading, you are stuck in your own limited thinking.
That's true. If I don't read, I keep thinking the same way every day.
Because you are not feeding your brain with new input.
So reading is like food for the mind.
Yes, and just like your body needs good food to stay strong, your mind needs reading to stay sharp.
What happens if we don't read?
Your thinking becomes slow. Your ideas become weak. Your understanding becomes shallow.
That explains a lot.
And here is something deeper. When you don't read, you become easily influenced by others.
What do you mean?
If you don't build your own thinking, you start believing whatever you hear.
So reading helps you think independently.
Yes, it helps you question, understand, and decide for yourself.
That's powerful.
It is, because a strong mind is not built by watching, it is built by thinking, and reading develops thinking.
I also feel something when I read, like my mind becomes calm.
That's true. Reading slows you down. It takes you away from noise and brings you into focus.
In today's world, everything is fast and distracting.
Exactly. And reading is one of the few things that trains your focus.
So reading improves concentration.
Yes. When you read, your mind stays in one place. It learns to stay focused.
That is something most people struggle with today.
And that is why reading is more important now than ever.
I think many people say, I don't like reading.
They don't like reading because they never built the habit.
So it is not about liking, it is about starting.
Exactly. In the beginning, it may feel boring, but slowly it becomes enjoyable.
Like exercise.
Yes, at first it feels difficult, but once you continue, it becomes a part of you.
So the goal is to start small.
Always. Don't try to read for 1 hour. Start with 10 minutes.
That feels easy.
That is the point. Easy habits are sustainable habits.
I think many people fail because they try too much at once.
Yes, they start big and then stop completely.
So small daily reading is better than big occasional reading.
Always.
Let me say something clearly. Reading is not a school habit, it is a life habit.
And if you build this habit, your life will slowly change.
So if someone is listening right now, what should they do today?
Simple. Pick anything, a story, a small article, a simple book, and read for 10 minutes.
Just 10 minutes?
Yes, but do it every day.
I feel like this is the beginning of something big.
It is, because every strong mind starts with small daily habits.
So now I understand. Reading builds thinking, focus, and mindset. But I still have one big question.
What is it?
How does reading actually improve my English speaking?
That is one of the most important questions, because many people read, but they don't realize how powerful it is for speaking.
Yes, exactly. I read sometimes, but I don't feel like I am speaking better.
That is because you are reading, but not understanding what is happening inside your brain.
What is happening?
When you read, your brain is silently learning how English works.
How?
Every sentence you read shows you structure, how words connect, how ideas are formed.
So I am learning grammar without studying grammar?
Exactly. You are learning naturally.
That sounds easier than memorizing rules.
It is easier and more powerful.
But I still feel I don't remember words.
That is because you are trying to memorize words instead of experiencing them.
What do you mean?
When you read a word inside a sentence, you understand its meaning naturally.
So I don't need to translate every word?
No. In fact, too much translation slows your learning.
That is true. When I translate, I lose focus.
Exactly. Instead, try to understand the sentence as a whole.
So reading trains my brain to understand English directly.
Yes, and that is the same skill you need while speaking.
I never connected reading with speaking like this.
That is why many learners struggle. They separate reading and speaking, but they are connected.
So reading improves speaking from inside.
Yes, it builds your language system silently.
I like that. Silently building.
Because you don't feel it immediately, but over time, your sentences become smoother.
I think I have felt this. Sometimes I speak a sentence and I don't know where it came from.
That came from reading. Your brain stored patterns and used them naturally.
That feels amazing.
That is real learning. Not forced, but natural.
So if I read daily, my speaking will improve automatically?
Yes, but only if you read actively.
What is active reading?
It means reading with attention, not rushing. Not just moving your eyes, but understanding the sentence.
So slow reading is better.
In the beginning, yes. Slow and clear reading builds strong understanding.
Should I read out loud?
That is even better. When you read out loud, you train your mouth and your brain together.
So reading can also train my speaking muscles.
Exactly. That is where reading becomes powerful.
Let me try. I am learning English every day. I feel more confident.
Good. That is reading and speaking together.
I can feel my mouth moving more smoothly.
Because you are training both input and output at the same time.
I think earlier I only watched videos. I did not read much.
That is why your progress felt slow.
So reading is like building a strong base.
Yes. Without reading, your English becomes weak and unstable.
What type of reading is best for beginners?
Start with simple stories, easy articles, or short paragraphs.
Not difficult books?
No. If it is too difficult, you will stop.
So easy and enjoyable reading is better.
Always.
I think I understand now. Reading improves vocabulary, sentence structure, and confidence.
And most importantly, it improves your natural thinking in English.
So if I want to speak better, I must read daily.
Yes. Reading is the hidden key to fluent speaking.
Let me say it clearly. If I read more, I will speak better.
That is the truth.
Now I feel something deeper is happening when I read.
You are right. Reading changes your imagination and your confidence.
Imagination? How?
When you read, you create pictures in your mind. Your brain becomes active. It builds scenes, emotions, and ideas.
So reading makes the brain more creative.
Yes, it trains your mind to think beyond what you see.
And how does that help in real life?
When your imagination becomes strong, your thinking becomes stronger. You start seeing possibilities and solutions.
I notice something. When I don't read, I feel empty. I don't know what to say.
Because your mind has no input, and without input, there is no output.
So reading gives me content to speak.
Yes, it gives you thoughts, examples, and ideas.
So reading builds confidence too.
Yes, when you have ideas in your mind, you feel more confident to speak.
That is true. When I know something, I speak more freely.
Exactly. Confidence comes from clarity, and clarity comes from knowledge.
I also feel calm when I read.
That is another powerful benefit. Reading reduces stress and brings peace.
So reading improves mental health too.
Yes, it improves focus, reduces anxiety, and brings clarity.
I think now I understand why successful people read a lot.
Exactly, because reading gives them clarity, ideas, and focus.
So now I understand everything clearly. But how do I make reading a daily habit?
Start simple. Make reading easy and small.
Easy and small?
Yes. Don't say you will read for 1 hour. Say you will read for 10 minutes.
That feels much easier.
Exactly. Your brain accepts small tasks easily.
What is the best time to read?
Choose a fixed time every day. Morning, afternoon, or night, but keep it consistent.
Why the same time?
Because repetition builds habit. Same time, same action, it becomes automatic.
What about place?
Choose a calm place. Keep your phone away. No distractions.
That sounds peaceful.
It is, and it helps your brain focus deeply.
I get bored quickly sometimes.
Then change what you read. Choose something interesting.
What if I don't understand everything?
That is okay. Don't stop for every word. Focus on the main idea.
That removes pressure.
Exactly. Reading should feel natural, not stressful.
Should I take notes?
You can, but keep it simple. Don't make it heavy.
Is there any powerful method?
Yes. Read and then speak.
Speak?
After reading, explain it in your own words. Even simple sentences are enough.
I read a small story. It was about a person who worked hard and became successful.
Perfect. You are using what you read.
I feel more active when I do this.
Because now you are learning deeply.
So now I know the system. Start small, read daily, choose interesting content, avoid distractions, and speak after reading.
That is the system.
And what happens if I stay consistent?
At first, nothing feels different, but inside your mind, something is changing.
What is changing?
Your thinking becomes clearer. Your words become stronger. Your understanding becomes deeper.
But we don't see it immediately.
Exactly. Reading is a silent transformation.
Silent transformation. I like that.
Because one day, suddenly, you realize you are speaking better without trying.
That sounds amazing.
You understand faster, express clearly, and feel more confident.
So reading builds everything step by step.
Yes, slowly but permanently.
Many people want fast results.
That is the problem. Real growth takes time.
So reading teaches patience too.
Yes, and consistency creates success.
I feel like reading is not just a habit, it is a lifestyle.
Exactly. It becomes part of who you are.
Let me say it clearly. Reading will not change your life in one day, but if you do it every day, it will change your entire life.
That is the truth.
So what should someone do now?
Take action. Start today.
Not tomorrow?
Not tomorrow. Start now. Even one page is enough.
Because small steps create big results.
Always.
If you are listening right now,
Don't ignore it.
start reading.
Start growing.
And if this helped you,
Make sure you like this video so more people can learn this.
subscribe to the channel for more powerful lessons like this.
And stay connected because your growth matters.
Now go.
And start reading. Your new life begins today.